Absolutely. It is good to be back. It is good to be back with the breaking news about Coach
Yes.
Tony Bennett,
Mm.
Virginia men's basketball.
Oh yeah. Man,
So
that's
Dr.
shocking.
Stroman, what was it a shock to you when you heard the news?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not in the least.
Wow.
Not in the least.
Wow. Okay.
So I was just on grounds about 3 weeks ago, and I was doing some work up there and decided to stop in at practice, women's practice, and then I went over to the men's gym, the men's court, and spent some nice, intimate time with Coach Bennett and Coach Ron Sanchez. Some of you might not know that Coach Sanchez was his right arm for a number of years and then left to lead Charlotte. And last year, Sanchez came back to UVA, and they are very, very close. And so everything was set up, I'll say, so that this could happen. This could happen. But I want to help our listening audience understand a few things so this,
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
I guess the context is better for everybody. The first thing is to understand the University of Virginia. You've got the alumni base, and then you've got the fan base. And one often is very reality-based, knowing our history, and then the other is truly the root of the word, fan, as in fanatics. And so it is Thomas Jefferson's University, first and foremost, a public Ivy, as in it has all the elitism, it has all the privilege, and it's very, very much private. As in UVA only receives about 8% of the money from the state of Virginia. So it is a public institution, but it operates like a private one.
Okay.
92% is non-state funded. So it's very much like a private school. And to give you a point of reference, Carolina, 16% comes from the state. And so I know North Carolina is very similar to Virginia and just taking more and more money away from the public institutions, but it's not to the degree of Virginia yet. So Virginia doesn't have a great sports tradition, like being a great powerhouse in sports. Only within the past 3 to 4 decades have things switched. So with that being said, expectations have increased because of Tony Bennett. Now, what did he do? He was named ACC Coach of the Year 2014, 2015, 2018, 2019, three-time National Coach of the Year.
Wow.
Over 18 seasons, including Washington State. In 2015, there was only one coach who achieved this mark, as in beat every active Hall of Fame coach. Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, Larry Brown at SMU, Coach K at Duke, Pitino at Louisville, and Roy Williams at Carolina. Tony Bennett did that.
Wow.
He retires as the winningest coach in Virginia history, six-time ACC champion, and of course the national title in 2019. And then he basically reinvented UVA men's basketball with that pack line defense, which has frustrated Duke and Carolina. When you frustrate Duke and Carolina, when you are considered a foe, a rival of Duke and North Carolina, you are now at the top. And that's what Tony Bennett did.
Man,
So why did he do it?
Yes.
I would say he has nothing more to prove. I would say recruiting is a bear, and now it's unbearable with the transfer and the NIL. The money situation, as in Virginia is an academic institution. I'm not going to say we don't pay people under the table. I would be naive to think that. But we are not known as a school that does that.
Right.
As in, we care about academics. So trying to pay these 4- and 5-star players, it's not going to happen at Virginia. And as the saying goes, you want Virginia to be Alabama and Duke on Saturday and then Harvard on Monday. And that's not going to happen at Virginia. And it finally has caught up. It's not going to happen. So Saban left, Williams left, Coach K, Jay Wright. So it just follows in line.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I will say that he's probably, I think he did do this to set up his successor. He would love to appoint, just like Coach K did, Ron Sanchez to give him a shot.
So just remind me. Again, we talked to Dr. Stroman, who's calling in from Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
I asked her to call in because obviously she's very close to the Virginia program. We're talking about the shocking announcement yesterday with Coach Bennett retiring today. I think they said. So it's a guy Sanchez. He's on staff right now. Dr. Stroman?
Yes, he is the associate head coach, along with Jason Williford, a former UVA player who's done a great job and who's had opportunities to leave and be a head coach at other places. But he's always said that he loves UVA. He can retire at UVA, but he's looking for the right opportunity if he were to leave. So it's Sanchez and Williford.
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay,
that's awesome.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That makes sense.
And two African Americans.
Yes.
But I do want to remind people that Dave Leto was the first black men's basketball coach at Virginia. So the second one will be, even though we put interim in front of it, but Sanchez or Williford.
Right. I was thinking about that. I thought about your guy Dave the previous coach as the first black there. So that's how you do it though, because most coaches do it that way. Coach Smith tried to do it that way, but it didn't work out. That's another story we'll talk about another time. But that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That he picks. Well, he chooses now just to step down and move forward.
Think about this, Mac. A week ago, D-Stro, when you was talking to us, he was literally sitting to the left of K-Mac, 2 feet from K-Mac, interviewing with our sister station in 99.9, and you would think that he was all fired up and ready to go for the whole season.
Yeah. He was evangelizing. He was telling the story.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? He was So let me ask you a question, Dr. Stroman, because I know you're close to this. I know it's real close to you. You said it's not going to happen at UVA. They're not going to pay players. So are you saying that the program in general just doesn't believe players deserve to be paid? Is that what we're saying, or is he just saying they just won't pay as much as players are asking for? I don't.
So it's a great question. It's a part of the tradition. Virginia alumni are not used to paying for success. You're there to get a degree and to be a great leader in this country.
Oh,
and so it's just completely foreign. Unlike Duke, and I'll say that, and unlike Carolina, even though Carolina is still struggling trying to get the big dollars from we just don't have the sports tradition. And we don't value, look at Malcolm Brogdon, who some people say, well, he will be a congressman or a senator or even a president one day. No one's going to pay for Malcolm Brogdon for all the success that he brought to to UVA, Rookie of the Year in the NBA, great point guard. You're just not going to pay for that. It's an honor to attend UVA. How dare you think that we're going to pay millions for you to compete in basketball, even if it means a championship? It's just foreign to the alumni base. So are there people working hard and smart trying to get people to open up their checkbooks or, they are working at it, but it's just not the tradition.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is that you have to convince people, these young star athletes, that it's more of a privilege to attend UVA than it is to make, $3 million when you're 19.
That's right.
Yeah, and that part.
And that ain't gonna never sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though he's a very youthful 55 years old, this recruiting game is for young people now. The idea of sitting in the living room and talking to the parents and, hey, you can graduate with a UVA degree and all that, that's not the sales pitch anymore. No. These folks, just like Carolina, nobody cares that Michael Jordan went to UNC. They can go play at XYZ University and get the Jordan brand, right?
Yeah.
So you have to sell something else. And most of them who want to compete in the ACC Division I, they think that they can play in the NBA. Now, Tony Bennett has put, I think, he's at the same level as Duke in terms of putting players in the NBA. I mean, just remarkable numbers. But the point is, they don't have the brand and the tradition of a Duke men's basketball. You have to, go specifically and show show the recruits, show the families, all the players that have made it to the pros, whether it's overseas, it's NBA, or whatever. Yeah. Whereas you can just look at Jason Tatum and say, "Whoa," you know.
Yep. Kyrie Irving.
It's just a different mentality when you tell young people you should be happy I let you play here. That falls differently nowadays than you would think it does. Mm-hmm. You know, you should be happy I let you work it. That kind of stuff just doesn't feel the same, you know, that it did in the 80s. You know, in the 90s. It's just, you tell young people, if they feel that from you now, if they feel that from you, regardless if you say it, if they feel that from you, like, well, you better be glad we let you play here.
Well, I mean,
that's just
Coach Smith.
Then they're out.
Coach David said it recently, and I don't totally agree with it. He said, coming to Carolina is not transactional. It's not a transaction. It's cultural. It's a cultural experience.
Well, he better wake up.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That was his response to Art, where Art was giving him a hard time about
transactional relationship.
Not getting a big man, how you lost out on that. He said it's transactional.
Well, you got to say something.
Because it's evident.
Because you didn't get one.
It ain't about the paper. It's about the experience came back and paying. What are you talking about?
It's about the fact that the big man said, look, ain't many of me out here, so I can get top dollar.
The big man said, Alabama paying me more money.
That's what we did. We did lose one to Alabama. Yeah.
That's the fact.
Get me started on the very, very aggressive moves by the state of North Carolina to take away diversity, equity, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. And so these young men, the history of North Carolina, like Virginia, you can go to these big public Ivy schools, and you're going to see some people that look like you, more co-eds that look like you and are fine and fly. And now, you know, there aren't going to be as many black students on campus. You know, these black guys want to go to places where the culture is there. And the culture is disappearing at UNC, and I can speak from experience.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's going to be a whole nother topic coming soon to the sports shop.
Well, with that experience, Dr. Stroman, I will let you Cabo Vita.
Cabo Vita.
No, I did. You know, I was on a listserv yesterday for Carolina men's basketball, and there are a lot of fans who are upset about UNC losing that player to BYU and saying it's all about the money, and we have to find money to pay these players. So it is, as the young people say, a hot mess right now. So I salute Coach Bennett. I look forward to his next chapter. I hope he decides to be an instructor, be a professor, because his leadership and the 5 pillars have just been wonderful in developing young men.
Well, if you love us as much as you say you do, can you call your friend Coach Bennett and tell him to call in? Tell him to call in and talk to us one day. Okay.
You should have some more time. So
all right. Okay. All right. Well, you know, all right, Dr. Stroman. We appreciate it, Dr. Stroman. We got to roll.
Take